I have a lot of clients who buy property because the listing says no HOA, but then they're surprised to find out that the property has restrictions on it. So what does no HOA really mean? I'm Tiffany Weber, and I am a real estate attorney in Mooresville, North Carolina at Thomas & Weber. And after having done thousands of closings, I see this all the time where people assume that not having an HOA means their property has no restrictions. There's a part in my closings where I ask the clients whether if they know of any restrictions that'll keep them from doing what they want to do with the property. Because as a closing attorney, I don't know my client's intended use of the property. So I want to at least get a gauge on whether they've read the restrictions and they know that they can't have chickens. You know, sometimes people really want to have chickens and they're in a neighborhood where they just can't. So sometimes I'll find that the clients thought, well, I don't have an HOA, so I can do whatever I want. That is not the case. So almost all properties around Lake Norman have restrictions on them. So that means that some developer or a prior owner of the property has placed limits on the size of house you can have, whether you can have livestock, can you operate a business out of your home. It really could be any type of restriction so long as it isn't an illegal restriction. So that would be something based on race, or gender or anything like that. So lots of properties, in fact, most properties do have restrictions on them. So people can be surprised to find out, even though they don't have HOA dues or an HOA board to answer to, that they still have to build a house of a certain size, or they have to have certain materials on the exterior of their home. So whenever you are closing on a property, or even if you're interested in a property, you can find the restrictions on the property before you even make an offer. So you can talk to your agent about that, and then they can help you find the restrictions. That way you can make sure you can do what you want to do with the property before you even put in an offer on the property that you're looking at. So if you do have a property that has an HOA, then that likely means that the HOA is in charge of enforcing the restrictions that are on the property. Perhaps your dues go toward common area facilities like a pool or sidewalks, or your monument maintenance, so it shows the name of your neighborhood when you drive into the neighborhood. So HOAs are responsible for all of that, and they often have management companies that keep up with the dues and track violations and send out letters for fees that you may owe or fines that you've been assessed for not following the restrictions. Now, if you don't have an HOA, then it is the responsibility of everyone who is subject to the restrictions to make sure the restrictions are enforced. So you don't necessarily need an HOA to enforce restrictions, but HOAs certainly do serve that function. So just remember, no HOA doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want to do with the property. Make sure you look at those restrictions before you get to the closing table so you're not surprised to find out that you can't do something that you really wanted to do. And if you have other questions about closings, make sure you watch some of the other videos on my channel. Don't ring the doorbell. Don't ring the doorbell. You're good, bud. You gotta be a good boy.